In the world of Hollywood, few stories are as captivating and cautionary as that of Rachel Zegler. Once hailed as the fresh face of a new generation, her journey took a dramatic turn that left audiences both shocked and intrigued. Now a once promising star finds herself at the center of a firestorm and single-handedly managed to take down a billion-dollar blockbuster. Rachel Zegler's recent viral video was meant to be a moment of empowerment, a chance to reclaim her narrative amidst a sea of criticism. Filmed from her bedroom, she looked directly into the camera, her voice a mix of frustration and defiance. Despite all the hate, she insisted, people still show up to support my work.
Who hates when I win? The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
But instead of silencing her critics, her emotional plea ignited a backlash that spread like wildfire across social media. TikTokers quickly stitched her video into comedic skits, turning her heartfelt message into fodder for mockery. The internet, it seemed, had other plans. The video, intended to showcase her vulnerability, instead became a catalyst for further criticism. Viewers dissected her every word, and the tone of her message was scrutinized. Many felt that her emotional appeal came off as self-centered, especially in light of the film's disappointing performance. The backlash was swift, and the comments section exploded with reactions ranging from disbelief to outright ridicule. The numbers told a stark story. Snow White, with a staggering budget of $250 million, opened to a dismal $45 million at the domestic box office during its opening weekend. This lackluster performance was not just a domestic issue. It reverberated across international markets where the film struggled to find its footing. In China, a crucial market for Hollywood films, Snow White grossed a mere $10 million in its opening weekend, a figure that was particularly disappointing given the country's history of embracing Disney's live-action adaptations. The film's failure to resonate with audiences in such a significant market raised eyebrows and fueled speculation about its overall viability. The film's performance was so poor that major theater chains began pulling it from their biggest screens, relegating it to less desirable showtimes. This was uncharted territory for Disney, a company known for dominating the theatrical market. The public sentiment was clear. Audiences were not just indifferent, they were actively rejecting the film. The hashtags #SnowFlop and Cancel Snow White trended as viewers expressed their disappointment, and the film's failure became a hot topic of discussion. Critics and fans alike took to social media to voice their opinions, and the narrative quickly shifted from anticipation to disappointment. The film's lackluster performance was not just a financial failure. It was a cultural moment that reflected the changing dynamics of audience expectations and the power of social media. Theater owners worldwide reacted swiftly to the film's dismal performance. In the United States, major chains like AMC and Regal began to reduce the number of showings for Snow White, opting instead to showcase films that were performing better at the box office. This decision was not made lightly. Theater chains rely on blockbuster films to drive ticket sales and concessions, and a film that fails to attract audiences can have significant financial repercussions. In international markets, the reaction was similar. In Europe, where Disney films typically perform well, Snow White struggled to draw crowds. Many theaters opted to replace it with more popular titles, further diminishing its chances of recovery. Reports indicated that some locations in the UK and France pulled the film entirely within its second week, slotting in higher-performing features and pushing Snow White to less desirable showtimes. The implications of this theatrical pull were significant. For a film with such a high budget, the inability to maintain a strong presence in theaters meant that it was unlikely to recoup its production and marketing costs. Analysts began to speculate about the long-term impact of this failure on Disney's brand and its future projects. Would audiences continue to trust Disney to deliver quality adaptations of beloved classics, or would this flop tarnish the studio's reputation? As the film's performance continued to decline, the narrative surrounding Snow White shifted from one of excitement to one of caution. The industry began to take note of the growing trend of audiences voting with their wallets, and the failure of Snow White served as a stark reminder of the risks involved in reimagining beloved stories. But the backlash against Zegler wasn't just about box office numbers. It was deeply rooted in her past comments regarding the original Snow White. In interviews, she had dismissed the 1937 classic as weird and creepy, scoffing at its romantic core. Her insistence that her version would not be saved by a prince and would instead focus on empowerment was meant to be a bold statement. However, many felt it came off as disrespectful to a beloved film that had touched generations. The backlash was swift and unforgiving, with longtime Disney fans feeling insulted and parents vowing not to take their children to see a movie led by someone who seemed to have disdain for the original. The internet was unforgiving, and clips of her past interviews resurfaced, amplifying the criticism. Memes and reaction videos flooded platforms like TikTok and Twitter, further entrenching her in the public's crosshairs. The tension between Zegler and her co-star Gal Gadot became increasingly palpable, not just during the Oscars but throughout the entire promotional tour. Observers noted the awkwardness in their interactions, with Gadot often avoiding eye contact and maintaining a stiff demeanor. The red carpet appearance, which should have been a moment of celebration, instead highlighted their strained relationship. Insiders later revealed that Gadot, while contractually obligated to promote the film, had chosen to distance herself from Zegler, further isolating the young actress in an already tumultuous time. The lack of warmth between the two stars was evident, and social media users were quick to pick up on the tension. Body language experts analyzed their interactions, noting the discomfort that seemed to hang in the air. The fallout from their relationship extended beyond mere awkwardness. Gadot's continued success and positive public image contrasted sharply with Zegler's growing isolation. While Gadot secured brand deals and continued to book roles, Zegler found herself increasingly marginalized. The industry's perception of her was shifting, and the absence of support from her co-star only deepened her struggles. As the criticism mounted, Zegler found herself increasingly alone. Unlike many stars who weather public storms with grace, she received little support from her peers. There were no public tweets of solidarity, no heartfelt posts from fellow actresses defending her. The silence spoke volumes, and Hollywood seemed to be stepping back. This isolation was particularly striking in an industry that often rallies around its stars during tough times. While other actors might receive a wave of support from co-stars or industry insiders, Zegler's experience was starkly different. The absence of any public gestures of solidarity from her colleagues was telling. It suggested that the industry was not only distancing itself from her, but also questioning her viability as a leading actress. Reports began to surface that her future projects were being reconsidered, with insiders questioning whether she was still a bankable star. Conversations that had once been vibrant and promising were now stalling. The industry's perception of her had shifted dramatically, and the consequences were immediate. Major studios began to reevaluate their plans, and whispers of her being dropped from upcoming projects circulated. Looking ahead, Zegler's prospects appeared grim. The backlash had not only affected her current film, but also cast a shadow over her future in Hollywood. Once positioned as the next big thing after her breakout role in West Side Story, she was now viewed as a cautionary tale. The industry had seen stars bounce back from worse, but only when they had the humility to apologize or the charm to win audiences over again. So far, Zegler had done neither. Instead, she doubled down, lashing out and remaining defiant, which only narrowed her path to recovery. The harsh reality of Hollywood is that perception is everything. Zegler's once bright star was now dimmed by controversy and public backlash. Insiders reported that her team was scrambling to reframe the narrative, pitching her for redemption-style profiles and soft press appearances. However, the damage might already be done. It's hard to walk back viral clips, and even harder to rebuild trust with audiences who feel burned. As the industry reevaluated her marketability, Zegler's future became uncertain. Would audiences still buy tickets to see her, or would they associate her with backlash, poor press, and disappointing box office numbers? The stakes were high, and the pressure was mounting. Rachel Zegler's story serves as a stark reminder of the volatile nature of fame. What was meant to be a triumphant return to the spotlight has turned into a public unraveling, with her viral meltdown acting as the spark that ignited a firestorm of criticism. The Hollywood it girl, once poised to carry Disney's next big franchise, may have just become one of the most spectacular flops in recent memory, not because of a single bad film, but due to the choices she made when the spotlight was at its brightest. In an age where social media amplifies every misstep, Zegler's experience highlights the precarious balance between celebrity and public opinion. The internet can elevate a star to dizzying heights, but it can just as easily bring them crashing down. The backlash against her was not just a reaction to her film, it was a culmination of her public persona, her comments, and the way she navigated the pressures of fame. As audiences continue to weigh in, one thing is clear: in the world of entertainment, perception is everything. Zegler's journey serves as a cautionary tale for aspiring stars and established actors alike. The importance of humility, the need for genuine connections, and the ability to navigate public scrutiny are crucial for anyone in the spotlight. The industry is unforgiving, and the line between success and failure can be razor thin. For Zegler, the road to redemption will require more than just talent. It will demand introspection, growth, and a willingness to adapt. The question remains: can she reclaim her narrative, or will she remain a symbol of what happens when the bright lights of Hollywood turn dim? As Rachel Zegler's story unfolds, it serves as a reminder of the complexities of fame and the challenges that come with it. The entertainment industry is a landscape filled with both opportunity and peril, and navigating it requires not just talent but also resilience and adaptability. The future is uncertain for Zegler, but one thing is for sure: her journey will be watched closely by fans and critics alike. Will she rise from the ashes of controversy, or will she become a cautionary tale of a star who burned too brightly, too quickly? Only time will tell, but as the world of Hollywood continues to evolve, Zegler's experience will undoubtedly resonate with many who aspire to make their mark in the industry.